Hi friends. So during these days when we are in the monastery of our existence, we're also in a school, a very real school. For many of us, we're in the school of love. That seems strange to hear and even strange to say. Many of us are with our families. Either we're with them physically because we have brothers and sisters and moms and dads and husbands and wives with us, and we're at the stay-at-home because of the mandates of our government, right? And because of this coronavirus. But also there are some who are maybe alone, but you're in constant contact with your family. Be that family like immediate family or distant family, or a family of friends, or a family of co-workers, a family of parishioners. So we're with family during this time in different ways. And Jason Everett calls the family the school of love. The school of love. Why does he call the family the school of love? Well, I mean, think about it. It's in the family that, I mean, obviously we learn love, but it's also in the family that we learn how to love others and even how to love like God loves. I mean, think about it for a second. Like when you're a teenager, who do you love the most? I don't know about you, but when I was a teenager, most of the time I loved my friends the most, you know? I didn't always have warm and fuzzy feelings about my mom and my dad, and certainly not about my sisters, right? So maybe you're in that situation. It's easy to love our friends in those ways because we're not always with them, right? It's harder to love our families because we are with them a lot more. And we know all of their faults and failings, and they know all of our faults and failings, all of our idiosyncrasies, all of our foibles, all of our mistakes. We know these things about one another. And so in a very real way, it's harder to love those who are nearest to us. But then that is also the opportunity for love, for a great love. It's easy to love our friends, right? Most of the time. But while you're with your family in these different forms during the stay-at-home, this is a great opportunity to really love. And what do I mean by that? Again, Jason Everett talks about this in regards to love, especially with our friendships. Should I say, especially with our families. I'm sorry. I forgive you. I love you. And how many opportunities are you going to have like that in these days to say, I'm sorry to family members. Forgive me for the stupid thing I just said or did, and I love you. That's where real love grows. Not when it's easy to love, but when it's difficult to love. I'm sorry. I forgive you. I love you. There are going to be many, many occasions during this time to do that. And these are the times in which you can really then grow in love with one another. It makes me think about the times when I was growing up with my own family. And yes, I'm a priest, but like you, I did not come from a perfect family, and I am not perfect. My family had their dysfunctions and still does, and so does yours. And so do I. We all do. We're imperfect, right? But I remember after a particularly poignant period in my life, like this occasion, this very strange time that we have in our lives to draw close to God. I got to draw close to God as a teenager. And from that experience, I remember going home after having an experience of God's love and doing that very thing. Saying to my family members, I'm so sorry for the ways I've treated you. And can you forgive me? And I forgive you. And I love you. And for a couple of my family members, for me to say that, I love you, was really hard. It was awkward, and it was awkward, I'm sure, for them to hear. And yet, it became the seedbed by which our love grew more and more. And I'm happy to say, because of things like that, and moments like that, difficult moments, awkward moments, strange moments, like we're in right now, that I'm very close to my mom, and I was able to get close to my father before he died, and I'm close to all three of my sisters. And I know that that's not the reality in all of our homes and all of our families. I know it wasn't when I was growing up, but it can be. This moment in your history can be a school of love. Would you call out on the phone or Facebook or whatever to a family member who you haven't talked to for a long time, to a son or daughter or a brother or sister who you've been avoiding, or they've been avoiding you for a long time, and we've been using those excuses, well, this happened, or they said this, or because of this, I just can't be around this person anymore. And yet, there is this school of love where we can, and it will be awkward to say, I'm sorry, and forgive me, and I love you. How does that begin? It begins by saying it to God. I'm sorry, forgive me, and I love you. And then from that love, that when he says, I love you, I forgive you, I'm sorry that you're going through this time, that grace and blessings and abundance of his life comes to you. And then what he gives you and you receive from him, you're able to give to others and receive from others. Until next time, friends.